You're sitting in traffic on a Tuesday afternoon, and the car in front of you is a brand new BMW X5 with the dealer plates still on it. The driver looks like he's about 32 years old, wearing a Carhartt jacket, eating a gas station hot dog, and your brain does that thing it always does. It tries to solve the math. How does that guy afford that car? Because that car is $90,000. That hot dog is 90 cents. Something doesn't add up. Here's the secret. He probably can't afford it. He just signed a piece of paper that lets him pretend he can for 36 months, and somewhere a finance manager is high-fiving himself because the deal closed in under an hour. My name is Nick, and today we're answering one of the most asked questions in personal finance. Should you buy or lease a car? The answer is more interesting than you think, because the question itself is a trap the industry built specifically to keep you. Now costs $49,275. $49,275 for a car. That's not a luxury car. That's the average car. The car next to you in traffic, the car your coworker drives, and the average monthly payment on that average car has hit $767. Also a record. More than 1 in 5 new car buyers, 20.3% to be exact, are now signed up for monthly payments over $1,000. $1,000 every month for something that loses value the second it rolls off the lot. If somebody told you they were spending $1,000 a month on shoes, you'd assume they had a problem. But somehow when it's a car, we just nod and say, yeah, transportation is expensive. This is the environment you walk into when you decide it's time for a new vehicle. The moment you walk through those dealership doors, you become the prize in a game where every other player has been training for years, and you're showing up with a YouTube video and some vibes. The finance manager slides a calculator across the desk with 2 numbers circled in pen. One says $612 a month. The other says $767 a month. He looks at you like he's just done you a favor. And in that moment, your brain processes $612 as a discount. The smart move. The problem is, you're not actually comparing the same thing. You're comparing 2 completely different financial products that just happen to both involve the same car. And the dealership has every incentive to keep you focused on those 2 monthly numbers and absolutely nothing else. Let's start with leasing because that's where most of the confusion lives. When you lease, you're essentially paying for the chunk of value the car loses while it sits in your driveway. You're not paying for the car, you're renting the depreciation. Imagine going to a hotel and instead of paying for the room, you paid for how much the carpet wore down while you were walking on it. That's leasing. If a $45,000 car is going to be worth $26,000 in 3 years, you're paying for that $19,000 difference plus a financing charge they call the money factor, plus taxes, plus a fee for opening the lease, plus another fee for closing the lease. And spoiler alert, every one of those fees is negotiable in theory and somehow never negotiated in practice. The lease payment ends up around $613 a month, the current national average. You drive off the lot with a smile. 3 years later, you hand back the keys. You've spent $24,000 on a car you do not own and now have to replace. No equity, no trade-in value, just a memory and some receipts. The dealership takes that car, slaps a certified pre-owned sticker on it, and sells it to your neighbor for 30 grand. The cycle starts over. Welcome to the most expensive subscription service in America. Now, I know the lease defenders are already typing furiously in the comments, and look, I get it. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about your lease. They'll say, Nick, leasing is great because you always have a new car under warranty. That's true. Genuinely true. But here's what they're not factoring in. The real average lease payment is not the $299 you see on the billboard. That figure requires you to put $3,999 down at signing on, say, a 2026 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. Amortize that down payment across 36 months, and your real monthly cost is closer to $410. Think about your buddy Dave, who keeps telling you he got an amazing deal at $299 a month. Dave forgot about the $4,000 he wrote a check for at signing. Dave does not actually know what his lease costs. Dave is part of the problem. And then there's the mileage trap, which is genuinely my favorite part of the whole leasing scam. Most leases come with a 12,000 mile per year limit. The average American drives about 13,500 miles per year.